How are you beautiful people out there? What is going on? This is your friend Britic, coming at you fast with another Paragon video, tips and tricks edition. And today is going to be our last gameplay on the Legacy map before Monolith comes out. Very sad, very depressing, I know, but it's a pretty solid Rampage gameplay. This is taken about mid-game. This is just a really solid game that I had yesterday as Rampage. Lots of fun. I love playing Rampage. Mastered Severog, so I switched over to Rampage, and he's just easy mode right now at least. We'll see how he plays on Monolith, but today we are going to be talking about the difference between a skilled player and a good player, what I mean by those, and what's better. So, with the last video, I left you guys with a question in the comment section, what you guys thought was the difference between a skilled player and a good player. And I saw a lot of responses that were similar to what I'm going to explain in this video. I saw a lot of responses that were different, but they also made sense. It just depends on how you interpret the question, interpret the definition of good, interpret the definition of skilled. There's no right or wrong answer, but here's what I want to interpret it as in this video to leave you guys with some thought heading into Monolith and pretty much the new version of Paragon as we move forward. So, the first things first, skilled player, what does that mean? So a skilled player is somebody who is just mechanically good at the game. They don't miss their shots, they don't miss their abilities, they don't miss their ults. They know, how to rotate. They know how to play the game well, just mechanically speaking. They know their hero's abilities well, they know their kit and how to play them well. Like a good howitzer, a skilled player on a howitzer just knows how to use his bounce back mines with his ultimates and what situations. He's just good at that, right? He's just very skilled mechanically. A good player is someone who communicates, someone who pays attention to the map, someone who plays with their team, someone who values the objective more over kills, someone who rotates properly and orderly with his teammates. This person might not be a skilled player, they might not be good at their hero, they might not land all of their snipes as Murdoch per se, but they still know when to group for a team fight, when to push lanes, when to get prime, and they just have good game knowledge. So a skilled player has good mechanical knowledge, a good player has good game knowledge. So, which one's better then? And that's a trick question, actually, because they are both very different in their applications. They're not going to be like, oh, this one's better than the other one. They're both good in their own ways, and they're both bad in their own ways. If you guys want to think about it, you guys can think about it like a splitting road. Like there's a fork in the road, right? You just started playing Paragon, and there's a fork in the road. You're either going to go left or right. Right off the bat, you're either going to go left or right. The left path is being a skilled player, the right path is being a good player. Usually people learn how to be one or the other first. Nobody really learns this game, at least the way I figured it and the way I play this game. Really don't think that people would learn both at the same time. It's kind of hard, right? It's kind of hard to be good, first off, mechanically. Some people just can't do it. Some people just have lousy reaction time. Some people just don't know how to aim. But that can come with practice, that can come with time. Same thing with being a good player. That can come with practice, that can come with time. So, you usually learn one or the other first. Now, if we're talking about me specifically in this situation, I'd like to say that I was first a skilled player before I became a good player. Rather, I learned how to use my heroes well. I learned how to aim in this game. I learned how to lead my shot. I learned how to land my abilities with certain heroes. I learned, what abilities to use for what situations. I learned basically how to play solo, pretty much, And then as you play more, as you meet more people, as you start queuing up, as you play against harder people, you start learning metas, you start learning strategies, you start learning, just how to be a good teammate, especially when you start playing with your friends. You start relying on each other, you start trusting each other and working together to win team fights, especially up in the higher elos. And then I turned into a better player. I'm still not like the best player ever, and I'm not trying to brag or say that I'm amazing because I'm not. I'm just saying that as an example, first I tried to become a skilled player, and then I started moving along the lines to a good player, knowing how to rotate, knowing when to call out, and doing what, when, and how at every moment in the game. Now, obviously, even the best players are going to have their slip-ups, and that's okay. But the reason behind that is because, you know, sometimes it's not really being, you know, if you're skilled at the game, if you've got that muscle memory down, then you're really not too worried about it. I feel like it's easier to become a skilled player than a good player. And going back to that metaphor about the fork in the road, that fork in the road ends up meeting later down the path when you become a skilled player and a good player. Excuse me. When you become a skilled player and a good player. And you can just call that, you know, you can make a third term up if you want to call it you're a great player at that point, or you're an advanced player or something, you know. But we're not worried about that. We're just talking about the difference between skilled and good. So how can you become one or the other? All right, Burdick, if I started off, you know, playing Murdoch 100% of the time, you know, 24/7, and I'm landing all of my snipes, and I know when to use my blink charm to get out of a fight or get into a fight, and I know when to use my shield knockback and all that stuff, you know, how do I become a good player now? Well, in order to become a good player, like I said, it just takes time and practice, but it also takes you into another form of the game when you open up your mind. Usually when you're a skilled player, you're only focused on yourself, you're only focused on learning your hero and doing well as your hero, you know, preserving your KDA and all that kind of random stuff. To become a good player, you really have to open up your mind and start trusting your teammates a little bit more. No matter how much you've been burned in the past, right? This game, it's a MOBA. It's a MOBA, alright? It's not a first-person shooter. It's not Call of Duty. We're not playing Search and Destroy. You can't carry your team with a 16-0 KDA, alright, and win those 4 rounds. You can't do it, alright? You can't. It's a MOBA. Everybody has to be doing their part, or at least be playing as a team effectively. Even if your individual play is kind of lacking, as long as you play as a team, win one crucial team fight near the 40-minute mark, you can pretty much win the game 95% of the time at that point, especially after taking Prime. So, how to become that? Really just, you know, don't be a lousy player. I had a video, and I still have this video, where I talk about how to be good in solo queue, and that kind of talks about how to be a good player, you know, how to be a good teammate, how to play around your teammates, how to help them out from time to time, how to gank them properly, how to be aggressive, you know, stuff like that, stuff that will just make you a better teammate. I even have a video specifically titled How to Make Yourself a Better Teammate. I really do. So you guys can just check that out, you know, how to be a good teammate and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's usually how you become a good player. As a skilled player, all it really takes, again, is just practice, you know, playing your hero a lot, you know, trying to master your hero. Try to play that hero if you're trying to become skilled with them. Try to play that hero as much as you can in a row. But at the same time, a good skilled player will be able to play multiple heroes for different situations, will be able to be flexible. So that's very important to notice the difference in that. And I feel like once people start noticing the difference, then they can become better players, then they can become skilled players, and good players, and great players, and all of the above when you figure out what the problem is. I wanted to illuminate this, you know, right off the bat, because a lot of people might be having this problem. They don't know how to improve, they don't know how to get better, they're worried about Monolith changing up the game now that they just got used to it. So really, the best thing to do is just to have an open mind about it if you're trying to be a good player. And if you're trying to be a skilled player, just try and spend as much time as you can in the game. Try and just spend as much time with your hero and understanding his abilities. And it's really, really straightforward. I know it's straightforward, but I wanted to point this out just before Monolith drops, so people can kind of understand how and where to start when improving their game. So, hopefully you guys understood this video. In order to become a great, advanced, elite player, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you need to be both a skilled player and a good player. You need to pretty much have those two branches cross. You need to have that fork in the road come back to one single road and become a skilled, good player, aka great player, aka whatever. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is the last time we're seeing Legacy for now. We'll probably see it later. I'm gonna miss this map. I really am gonna miss it, but hopefully Monolith just brings a new layer of fun and creativity to Paragon. I can't wait to see where Paragon goes in the future, and hopefully you guys will stick with me till the end, as always. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you all have a wonderful day.